WHNT News 19's Joel Porter joins us live from Muscle Shoals. Joel, what's happening there?
Well, good evening, Kristen. That's right. I just arrived here in the last half hour, spoke with a few neighbors. I'll tell you a little bit where I am right now. Behind me is East Roosevelt Avenue. This is off Wilson Dam Road on the eastern end of Muscle Shoals. You can see the water still remains relatively high behind me. Now, this happened, they tell me, because a pump station failed late Friday night into Saturday morning. One neighbor I spoke with said he heard the alarm go off, and this water actually came up in a matter of less than 12 hours. So sleepless night heading into Saturday for a lot of these neighbors along Roosevelt Avenue. The good news is that that water has gone down some over the last day or so, which has given them a chance to get some more of that water out of their homes. The other good news is that these homes behind me, and I'll give you a little bit of a look at what I'm looking at here, the homes are all fairly recent construction, which means that most of these homes, we're not talking about any basement flooding, which is the good news. So these homes are built on slab. Also, there is some vehicle losses. That's a pickup you can see right there that they can't get it out of the water just yet. It's not safe to pull it out. So one neighbor I spoke with says that he's thinking that he has his truck as well as his wife's vehicle are probably going to be a total loss. So that's some of what they're looking at right now. I spoke with some of them as they were putting on waders to walk back into the homes and start some of the dehumidifiers, some of the fans, pumps, anything they can do. But they are still looking at probably replacing their doors, flooring, an expensive job for the next few months. And I'll talk a little bit more about that coming up later on this evening. Reporting live from Muscle Shoals, Joel Porter, WHNT News 19. Greg and Siobhan, acclaimed and heralded though she was here in the transportation vestibule of Huntsville Airport. The accolades bestowed henceforth upon Erin, well deserved, after the scholarly pursuits of this precocious 8th grader's seemingly undying devotion to the lexicon. Here's the moment she disembarked to the merrymaking of her well-wishers. You may remember Howard also competed in last year's National Spelling Bee, falling short of the national title, but not this time. The Mountain Gap 8th graders studied even harder this time around, mastering 12 words, including Tophet, Jindi Warabak, Zamakeka, Commodore, Kalambor, and Dexis. Easy stuff, am I right? Judges eventually ran out of words and declared the final 8 all winners.
I think coming into it, I knew that I stood a chance because I had worked so hard for so long. But, you know, the competition itself is about luck, and it's impossible to know every single word. The
plans to welcome her back home had been in the works for some time now, but returning to Huntsville, Erin says she had no idea what would await her.
I was so honored, and these are all amazing people, and I just want to say thank you to every single one of them a million times over because they're all wonderful people.
Humble through and through, she says in the whirlwind she's been through since winning the competition, she has become quite close with a number of her co-champions. The tour for Erin is not over yet. She flies back to Tinseltown on Friday for more star treatment. The commemoration, a swarm of admiration, as Erin's future classmates downright gregarious, bestowing their exaltation upon the soon-to-be freshman at Grissom High School. I would go on, but I was told to keep this statement perfunctory. Gregariously and obsequiously yours, Greg and Siobhan. Joel Porter, WHNT News 19.
Joel! And WHNT News 19's Joel Porter is there right now. So, Joel, what's the big draw over there?
If you guys have been to Stovehouse yet, Greg and Siobhan, this is the big attraction, the oversized pool table. It's tough to get a spot on here, depending on sometimes the night, because this thing is crawling. So this is Brendan over here. Mom and Dad said he could stay up late just to play one more game. So he's been waiting impatiently to start. We got them all racked up here. So, Brendan, I promise you get first shot, so you get to go ahead and kick. All right, look at that, broke it up. Open table, open table. Oh, that was close. One thing I do want to say is that for people, this has been the big attraction. It's not all fun and games here. There are places to eat, but there will be more neighbors moving in. The managers of Mazzaro's, the Italian kitchen, they're going to plan to open next week, and within the next few weeks, they're going to be joined by a few more neighbors over here.
come around, there's something new.
With new crepes on display, the owners of Oak Crepe are giving Stovehouse visitors a taste of what's to come.
We've got 7 different restaurants, 7 different concepts.
Oak Crepe, Kamado Ramen, and Taqueria El Cazador are building out their new spaces. But Mazzara's Italian Kitchen will beat them to the punch when they open up next week.
The gelato it's amazing, and I just hope they can make enough of it for these hot days.
As day turns to night, the lights come on, the music turns up, and the crowd arrives.
Everywhere from 400 or 500 people to 2,000 people, and that's with good entertainment on stage.
The owners and management have spent nearly 2 years converting the old oven factory into a vibrant night spot.
Preserve the history, and then with a nod to the here and now. And so it's we thought this would be a great place for people to come and mingle.
There will be plenty more chances for that, as everything surrounding the food garden is one large construction zone.
For instance, we have a brewery, brew pub concept going in over here, and that's this huge, about 10,000 square foot space.
The brewery is about a year away. Managers say people can also expect future shopping and fitness studios. All right, so Clyde's Barbecue, they are one of the newest members to announce they are moving in. They are going to be moving into that blank spot down there, second from the end. They are promising to move in the fourth quarter of this year. The managers aren't committing to a firm opening date. They're thinking it might happen around Thanksgiving or so. Other big news for yoga fans who love coming out to Stovehouse, the Burn Collective is planning to move into their new studio here next month. They've already been offering some outdoor yoga classes here, which are a big hit for people who love yoga and flexibility and burning some calories out here, so there's always some big attractions to announce, and they're promising even more. Reporting live from Stovehouse, Joel Porter, WHNT News 19.
19's Joel Porter on the scene. And Joel, what have you been able to find out so far?
Jerry and Siobhan, deputies tell me the girl appears to have been killed in a rollover. Limestone County Sheriff's deputies tell me they were called out here this afternoon around 3:30. The accident happened when the girl was riding in an ATV in a remote area behind the home, which is along Blackburn Road, that's just north of US 72, a few miles west of Athens. Deputies say the girl was around 14 years old, but so far we don't know her name.
But unfortunately, we see these things happen, and we'd like to never see them happen. But I mean, it affects family, it affects friends, it affects coworkers, it affects classmates, and I just hope that that this family can heal and the community can come together and support them.
Deputies are now still on site at the home and looking into exactly how this happened. They tell me this is especially difficult news for the girl's family and friends, especially since Limestone County school kids start class on Monday. Reporting live near Athens, Joel Porter, WHNT News 19.
Some upsetting news for students in Huntsville as they found out their college is closing earlier than expected.
WHNT News 19's Joel Porter went to Virginia College in Huntsville today. So, Joel, we knew the school was closing next spring. Why the rush?
Well, Greg and Clarissa, Virginia College is one of 5 schools run by the Education Corporation of America. That group is overseen by the Accrediting Council for Independent Colleges and Schools, or ACICS. I apologize for the jargon. Yesterday, the ACICS told the ECA they're withdrawing the grants of accreditation for all institutions owned by Virginia College. And for students in Huntsville, it means they have less than 2 weeks to finish all of their hours. Some of them tell me that's impossible. An emotional afternoon for students in Huntsville as they got some shocking news less than 3 weeks before Christmas.
About finished, and we're being told that we may not be able to graduate.
Near the end of the business day, a handful of aspiring medical workers at Virginia College were making frantic phone calls for information.
My finish date would have been the first part of January.
We're just doing the best we can with what information that we have.
The trade school announced earlier this year it wasn't taking any new students, but school leaders found out this week they'd lost their accreditation, which means by this time next month, the school won't exist.
I've got a job, it's just what I've missed. I mean, I've put in the hours, I've put in the effort, and now there's not going to be an end result.
I talked with one Virginia College student as she was hurrying inside, who tells me fortunately she will be able to finish on time. But for many others, they say they're not so lucky. They were told this week if they don't finish all of their assignments and credit hours by December 18th, that's it.
There's not enough hours in the day for the office that I work for to be open for me to get those hours.
2 weeks is not a lot of time.
No, it's really not.
How much do you have left to finish?
A little less than 100 hours, but of externship. So I'm already done with my classes, but we'll see.
You think you can get it done?
Hopefully, we'll try and.
There are 27 Virginia College campuses in the U.S., 4 in Alabama, with an estimated 15,000 students enrolled. What is unknown is how many of them are being left out in the cold by the latest news. The ACICS is requiring the ECA to report to the executive committee with how many students have graduated and what they're doing to transfer the students to other schools so they can finish those studies. That report is due December 19th. In the newsroom, Joel Porter, WHNT News 19.
WHNT News 19's Joel Porter is taking action, and we went to the plant in Tanner today. Joel, what did Redline managers tell you?
Clarissa, since we began covering this story in December, we have reached out to Redline Steel several times in hopes of hearing what they've been doing to address those complaints. This week, management agreed to their first on-camera interview with WHNT News 19 on the subject. After agreeing to reschedule from Thursday to Friday, I showed up at the plant today, was told the owner was sick, nobody from the company would go on camera, nor was I allowed to see anything from the factory floor. And some customers have been waiting since Thanksgiving.
He's an avid hunter, so I just thought it would be something great, as a Christmas item for him.
It's been a frustrating few months for Cherie Carlson. Like several other people, her custom metal monogram from Redline Steel didn't make it by Christmas.
And so I posted something, and they kept deleting it, and so then I messaged the guy, and the next thing you know, I was booted off the page and actually blocked off the page.
Not exactly the treatment she was expecting. Still, the company has spent the last few weeks rushing to box up and ship out the overdue orders, which meant Carlson finally got a straight answer.
Pretty much really yesterday, when I finally got my shipping confirmation.
Redline Steel management declined to appear on camera or allow me to see anything on the factory floor on Friday. They told me they're now on the last 5% of the overdue orders, and they say they plan to have the rest of the overdue Christmas orders shipped out by Saturday.
Due to the high call volume, we are currently not accepting calls.
For weeks, this was the automated response for frustrated callers. By Friday, however, a more personal touch.
Thank you for calling Redline. How may I help you?
Hello there.
Hello.
They're still not reaccredited, but Redline Steel's Better Business Bureau rating rose from a D- to a B-. The company has now merged its different products under the name Redline Decor.
Companies have tried to rename themselves, restructure to get away from the bad reputation that they've developed under another business name. That's happened here locally many times.
Redline management say they hope to get their rating back to an A by next month. Garcia says to do it, they'll have to satisfy complaints from customers like Carlson.
And I verified today, and it actually will be here tomorrow.
Redline management says they've hired 5 customer service employees to answer phone calls. They wouldn't give me an exact number as to how many orders they have yet to ship out. In the newsroom, Joel Porter, WHNT News 19.
A handful of people shined up the brass to play taps at the exact time all over the country. WHNT News 19's Joel Porter joins us from the newsroom. So Joel, how did this idea originate? Whose idea was this?
Well, it came together in a very short time, Greg and Clarissa. The group known as Bugles Across America sent out not quite a call to arms, more of a call to horns, inviting anybody who could make it to show up at their local cemetery where veterans are buried and play taps to honor George H.W. Bush. This was one ceremony where Bob Backus showed up to play taps at Valhalla Cemetery in Huntsville. Standing among the graves and the wreaths, Backus played his Civil War-era bugle to the tune he has performed hundreds of times.
Very supportive of our elected officials, and I'm very supportive of the president. Whenever I get an opportunity to pray at church, I pray for the president, no matter who it is, and this has gone back for a number of years. And this is, we're honoring the legacy of a great American.
Buglers were also performing this afternoon at Maple Hill Cemetery in Huntsville and Decatur Cemetery. You'll hear more from them about the special tribute coming up on News 19 at 10. In the newsroom, Joel Porter, WHNT News 19.